Let's talk about an absolutely epic story. And what's really interesting is that it doesn't start with a person. It starts with a single, sacred seed. A seed that makes an unbelievable journey all the way from Africa to the fields of Cuba, carrying the weight of an entire history and, believe it or not, the hope of a revolution. And that line, which is right from the book's prologue, it sets the tone perfectly, doesn't it? It tells you right away that this is a story that weaves together different continents, different people, all bound by the absolute agony of slavery, but also by this incredible, powerful hope for freedom that just refuses to be extinguished. So at the very heart of this whole saga is this mysterious plant, the Black Cigar. And you gotta understand, this is so much more than just tobacco. Back in its home in Africa, it's treated as a sacred bridge, a way for the living to actually connect with the world of the spirits. And the keeper of this spiritual connection? That's the babalawo. Think of him as more than just a priest. He's the guardian of ancient wisdom, the one who knows the secrets of the gods, and he's the cultivator of this deeply spiritual tobacco. Which brings us right to our hero. Before his life was turned completely upside down, before the chains, he was a man of immense power and dignity, a respected priest, a warrior, a true leader in his village of Oyo. To really get this story, you have to know who Kunto Elegba was before everything was ripped away from him. He's a babalawo, a fierce warrior, the sworn guardian of this sacred plant, and a man with these striking, unusual amber eyes. He's not just a person, he's a spiritual force. And then, the nightmare he'd been dreaming about becomes real. Slave hunters storm his village, their guns spitting thunder and death, just like in his visions. This is that horrifying moment that tears him from everything he's ever known and throws him onto this brutal new path, forcing him to protect the only thing he managed to save, those sacred seeds. So his journey brings him to Cuba, and here's the crazy thing. It's beautiful. I mean, it's a lush, green paradise. But for Kunto and so many others, this paradise is actually a living hell, built on the backbreaking brutality of slavery at a place called the El Paraíso hacienda. And just look at this timeline. It shows you the sheer horror of what he went through. Ripped from his home, forced onto a ship that was basically a floating hell, sold like property in Havana, and then his new life begins at El Paraíso. I mean, it's a journey designed to strip away every ounce of who you are, but somehow it couldn't break his spirit. Now, at El Paraíso, we meet the story's main villain, Pedro Cortez. This guy isn't just a cruel slave owner. He is a man completely consumed by one single obsession. He wants to create the best tobacco the world has ever seen, and he will literally build his empire on the suffering of others to get it.
But Cortez isn't the only powerful force on this plantation. This is where Kunto's world smashes into another, and it belongs to the last person you'd expect, the daughter of his own tormentor, the brilliant, the defiant, the completely rebellious aristocrat, Isabella Cortez.
I mean, talk about two worlds colliding. On one side, you have Kunto, an enslaved African spiritualist, literally fighting to survive another day. And on the other, you have Isabella, a privileged European intellectual fighting for abstract ideals. They are total opposites, right? And yet, they end up forming this incredibly dangerous and unlikely alliance that is going to change everything. That phrase just says it all for Isabella, a free soul in a golden cage. She was educated in Europe, her head is filled with all these revolutionary ideas, but she is trapped in her father's brutal, oppressive world. She hates the very system that gives her all her privilege, and she's just desperately looking for a way out. So the big question is, how do these two incredibly personal stories end up sparking a nationwide revolution? Well, this is where that tiny tobacco seed that Kunto saved starts to fulfill its incredible destiny, connecting the struggles of these two people to the massive historical stage of Cuba's fight for independence. Okay, so check this out. Here's how it plays out. First, Kunto secretly starts growing his African tobacco on Cuban soil. Next, he performs a sacred ritual, preparing one very special cigar. That cigar is then given to a key revolutionary leader who smokes it and receives a powerful vision of the future. And that vision, that becomes the spiritual fuel that ignites the entire rebellion.
And it's really important to get this. This is not just about boosting morale. The smoke from the Black Cigar is described as being literally charged with ancestral wisdom and visions of what's to come. It gives the revolutionaries this deep spiritual certainty, an unbreakable belief that a free Cuba isn't just a possibility, it's their destiny.
What an incredible story. It's this sweeping saga of resilience, of spirituality, and of the unyielding fight for freedom. It really shows how one single seed can grow into something that changes the entire course of history. And the best part is, your journey into this world can start right now.
The book is called Black Cigar, and it's by the author Ito Cruz. So if you want to dive headfirst into this epic tale of hope, resistance, and revolution, you can find it available right now on Amazon.
So I guess that leaves us with just one final question. When you immerse yourself in this story, when you follow this seed from Africa to Cuba and you witness the birth of a revolution, what will you discover in the smoke?